These four guys are billionaire makers. They set out in 2023 to make themselves and their employees billionaires. And that's where they are right now. In fact, in 2020, when they did a direct public offering, as I was corrected, it was not an IPO, it was a DPO. Peter Thiel wrote Alex a check for $1 billion because he achieved what they set out for him to do, and that was to get this DPO'd and pay the investors, early on investors, out that they cleared everything they put in with a handsome profit. Now what they set out to do was to make their employees billionaires as well. And they used a tactic which is called stock-based compensation to do this. In essence, what they did was they went out and hired the best programmers, the best engineers in the world, and promised to make them billionaires. What I'm going to do in this video is explain to you how they did it and what they're doing now that can make you a millionaire. You won't become a billionaire, but if you play this right, you too will benefit from the cunning of Peter Thiel, Alex Karp, Joe Lonsdale, and Stephen Cohen. They're geniuses.
Best of Us Investors presents Kerry Griegmeyer.
What's interesting is they are not the first people have done this. Google did it, Facebook did it, Amazon's done it. It's a regular practice that I don't think the general public that does investing recognizes what these companies do. They go out and hire the best talent they can get and promise them they will make them billionaires if they will follow the line. Okay, Peter, Alex, Joe, and Stephen set out to do this, as I said, in 2003. They got notoriety in 2017 when they were credited of working with the CIA to find and eliminate Osama bin Laden. They then, as I said, DPO'd, yes, in 2020. And what they did was all along they said, once we DPO and become a publicly traded company, we will compensate you in such a way that whatever your salary is, you will also receive in stock-based compensation. Now, what you must recognize is the amount they're going to receive is based on a dollar amount. So think about it. What is the best thing that can happen if you're an engineer at Palantir and you have a salary of $500,000 a year and you get $500,000 worth of Palantir stock each year as well? Well, the best thing that can happen is the price of that stock be as low as it can be. It would be wonderful if it sold for 2 cents for the whole time you were there. Let's look at a chart and see exactly what did happen. Once they DPO'd at roughly $9.52, within a matter of months, the stock shot up to $45. So the original investors really came out phenomenal. Now the Palantir continued to show losses. Why did they show losses? Because they were expensing out the stock that they were giving to their employees against their earnings. So even though they had a tremendous gross markup, they brought nothing to the bottom line. And eventually, as you see, the stock market got tired of it and took the price down back to $9.75, about where it IPO'd. Then it took it down to $7.28, and it stayed there for about a year at $7.43. And now what they've done is they announced just last month that they were going to cut that 100% stock-based compensation down to 26%. As a result of that, they're going to show a profit. And what happened? The price of the stock went from, what was it, $7.42 to over $15 a share, a 100% gain. So is that where it's going to end? Well, the earnings basically came from in 2022, the earnings per share went from minus 12 cents to a positive 21 cents. And as you look out in the future, it's even going to go higher. So is it realistic to believe that this stock will probably double 2 or 3 more times by December of 2024? Yes, I believe it is. Because what they're doing, again, they were making money, but they were taking that money and buying stock for their employees. You can look at the numbers. I mean, for the amount that they put in the stock or bought stock was greater than their losses. So they were making money, but they were manipulating the stock price to benefit and reward their employees. Is this wrong? As I said, Facebook did it, Amazon did it, Google did it. Haven't you ever heard the story? If you were lucky enough to be one of the first 50 employees at Google, you were a billionaire because they had no money. They were making no money, so they paid their employees with stock. That's what Google did. That's what Facebook did. They paid their employees and their early investors with stock. Now, what Palantir has basically decided, we're going to start making money. And now our shareholders will benefit. But more importantly, the employees who were getting stock at $7.28 year for the past year are now, they've doubled their money. Do they want a raise, or would they rather have the stock price go up? I believe they'd rather have the stock price go up. I believe they'd rather see that stock price back up to $45 and then $90. And I think, as Homer advised me, this is the most dominant, leading AI company in the world. They are, just as a result of their cybersecurity dominance, they are going to be in a position to help the government protect itself from artificial intelligence and machine learning. They have some of the best software packages. You can go over to other YouTubers and they can tell you about all the wonderful packages they have. What I'm going to tell you is how business works. Okay? And how if you understand, if you will subscribe to Seeking Alpha and you will go look at their earnings and their gross profits, and then go down and see what's their operating income. Where did all that income go? Well, go to their annual report, and on page 84 you will find it, and it will show you what their cost of research and development, what their cost of administration, what their cost of sales was, and then down below that it will say the portion of those numbers that are contributed to stock-based compensation. And the number for stock-based compensation is bigger than half of the number for the total expense. That's how they've manipulated this stock, not to take advantage of you, but to make their loyal employees billionaires. If you've listened to any of Alex's interviews, he tells you, we have the best employees in the world. I'll put them up against everybody else. And then he cries like a baby, but the government takes our contracts away from us and we don't get them back. Why is he doing that? To get the public to push that price down so that his employees get rewarded. Now, I'm sharing this with you so that you can understand how business works. I looked up who are the largest companies that give stock-based compensation, and you'd be surprised who they are. But I'll tell you what, I'm going to dig into their books. I'm going to see if they're doing it for the purpose of holding down their earnings per share so that they can do what Palantir did and turn that faucet off so their stock price skyrockets and the employees become billionaires. Again, this is not your grandfather's investment committee. This is not Ford Motors and General Motors and General Mills and General Electric who build companies to pay you dividends. No. These people build companies to reward their early investors and to reward their early and loyal employees. Now you understand how Palantir works, and you're going to come to understand how business works. This is not about investing. This is about understanding how a business works and how it puts itself in a position to make profits not only for itself and its stockholders, but for its employees. And why is this possible? Because it's not like you're making an automobile and you have a big factory and you have thousands of employees and you have unions. No, I don't know how many employees. I can look it up, but I would guess it's probably less than 500 at Palantir. And what do they make? I mean, do they have a factory? No. They manipulate code, zeros and X's. That's what they do. And they search data. I've told you since I've been in this YouTube gig, the most valuable asset in the world today is data. And what is artificial intelligence all about? Manipulating and harvesting that data. And then once you do that, you teach the algorithm to learn. And that's what all that ChatGPT is. It has learned the words that we use as human beings, and it starts with one word, and then it says, what should the next word be? And then the next word be, and the next word be. That's artificial intelligence. Machine learning is another step. We'll talk about that another time. And we'll talk about some other companies that are going to deliver AI to the world. One of them is Palantir. I just bought another one today. But we'll talk about that another time, probably on our private videos. And how do you get access to my private videos where I share everything that goes into the Bus 13? And Palantir is not going into the Bus 13 because the Bus 13 is dedicated to those companies who are going to rebuild the infrastructure of the internet so that they can handle this increased capacity that is going to be put upon it as a result of artificial intelligence and machine learning. No, Palantir will go into Bus 12. That is a different bus where we're going to get the stocks that we find that have positioned themselves to deliver artificial intelligence to us. All I want you to do is think about the biggest purchase you've made in your life. That's going to be one of the areas that artificial intelligence is going to make a huge difference. That's one of the companies I'm doing more research on as we speak. And I'll tell you about that sometime in the future. Now, let's just have fun making money.